If you want to publish a book, but you feel stuck, out of time, and you don't know what to do next, then it's time to finish the damn book. Here's your host, Susie Schaefer.
Welcome to this episode of Finish the Damn Book. I'm your host, Susie Schaefer. My guest today is bestselling author and yoga instructor Mahnaz Jahangiri. Mahnaz began her decades-long career in television production and turned to yoga specifically for stress management. She began teaching in 2002 and by 2008 left television to launch her first yoga studio, followed by a second studio in 2017 near downtown Los Angeles. Mahnaz published her first book in 2020, Finding Home, A Path to Emotional Stability and Self-Healing, followed by a second edition and a companion journal. She currently teaches daily live streaming yoga and meditation classes and regularly conducts corporate webinars. Mahnaz has 23 years of teaching experience to students at all levels, from beginner to advanced, and all ages, from 4 to 84, with many physical backgrounds, including professional athletes to students with debilitating diseases and injuries. She leads retreats, teacher trainings, and workshops and finds the greatest joy by introducing yoga to people on a local, national, and global level. Mahnaz is an expert in highlighting the necessary tools needing to find one's own freedom and optimal health through the ancient disciplines of yoga and meditation. Samadhi Yoga encapsulates a program of classes with a variety of yoga styles and lineages. Samadhi Yoga has been evolved from local communities in Westlake Village and Koreatown to a virtual platform with a national community. Welcome.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about your book. When you first were writing and launching your book, what things were emotionally or challenging or frustrating for you?
Well, first and foremost, it wasn't my idea. I never thought of myself as a writer. I always enjoyed it, of course. But it was one particular student who, once I closed the studio, he was like, you got to put all this down. You got to write all this down. There's too much wisdom to not be, attained by others. So he's like, just start writing, basically. So I did, and I found that it was very therapeutic. It was very enjoyable. It helped me kind of tap into that whole creativity again. But the frustration was really like this was stepping into a world that I have no clue about, and ultimately, why am I doing this? There was no like, okay, yes, I have a lot of knowledge, but really questioning, is it even worth it in a way? But the process was great. Of course, it's very therapeutic. It's, just kind of going through things. And, it's kind of like a muscle. It's like retraining a muscle. So it felt good. But I still, even up until the point I met you, Susie, I like to know things. I like to know how to do things. And it's frustrating when I don't even know the industry. I don't even know, like, all I know is write it. I self published it, and it was just fumbling my way through. Thank God for Michelle White, who kind of gave me some guidance. And then you, where I felt like, okay, these are the kind of people I need to be around because this isn't my industry. So, but getting over that, just not knowing and just really ultimately, Susie, doing it because you want to do it, not because there's an end, a result that you want. It was just like, am I enjoying doing it? I am. It's kind of refreshing being at the point in my life, doing something that you have no clue about.
Yeah. And I agree that there is a learning curve, even for authors. I mean, someone might be a great writer, but unless you understand the ins and outs of how the things work and how systems talk to each other and all of that, it can be very, very daunting. And I think that's why a lot of people stop the writing process or stop the publishing process, is because they just don't have that support.
Exactly. And I think I'm kind of used to not having support, but when you really don't know what you're doing, like you need it. You got to have it, and you got to feel comfortable with that support, and you got to feel nurtured by that support, So there's definitely, and again, I'm grateful to you.
Well, thank you. Did you have any big aha moments during the process of writing and publishing that you were kind of like, oh, now I get it? Like maybe made your why become clear for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the why really was I've always been about helping people,
Yeah.
I feel like, is this good enough information to even go through the effort of doing this? Yes, I do. Am I that passionate about helping others and really sharing the knowledge that I have? Yes, I am. So those things were realized. So, yes, absolutely. Through the process, that was the aha. Like, you know what? Hopefully, this is going to reach the right people. Hopefully, somebody, even if it's one person, is going to enjoy reading this and get something out of it.
Did you feel like you ever had that imposter syndrome? Like, is my story good enough? Is
Oh,
this
of course.
worthy? Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. First of all, the story, I'm not a writer. That's a story.
right.
I'm not good at this. That's a story. And for sure. And it was kind of like I wrote a book, I'm a published author. Like it felt so egotistical to say that. And for sure, imposter syndrome. Like that was never even a goal, you know?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you recently partnered with Hoda Copy's wellness platform. Tell us about that new venture.
Oh, that's wonderful because I respect the woman. I think she is a positive force and, her company's Joy 101. So that's really great. That happened totally randomly. I'm not a big social media person, as you know, and I reluctantly do social media stuff. But one thing that I got somewhat consistent with, kind of on and off, was YouTube. So I recorded YouTube. So my first question to this woman, the talent scout, was, how did you find me? Because also I have a lot of, people that I know and friends that are in the industry, know everybody knows somebody. And I'm like, they must have referred me. Nope. It was just random. She found me. She liked the way I taught. And she's like, I think it was the YouTube channel.
Hmm.
And it was just very satisfying, like to do something that you really don't have all the faith in, and then for it to come out of that. And the fact that they were looking for somebody who taught like me. I talk a lot, I explain a lot. I'm not fluffy in my language. I'm very direct, and that's what they wanted. And it was just very reassuring. It was wonderful. So, yeah, so they said, we want to do a test video. It's you amongst I don't know how many people, and I followed up, and I followed up. Of course, I was eagerly waiting. They're like, yes, we'd like you to be one of the instructors. I'm like, great. So yeah, so I recorded some classes for them, and now, as you and I were talking earlier, just having a meeting with them for them to figure out, where they want to go with it next. But it's a very extensive platform, and of course, you always think, you know is this going to be a benefit to my platform? Am I conflict? No, not at all. It's completely different. It's really all encompassing. It's a lot of therapists on there, a lot of coaches on there, so breath work teachers specifically. So it's really extensive, and it's quite fun to be a part of it. I'm just hoping to be able to do more, so I'm just waiting to see where it's going. But yeah, so far great. And the other thing too I want to mention about that, Susie, is as soon as you become a business owner, especially working in my TV background, it's very isolating.
Hmm.
It's like just you. It's lonely. So to be able to collaborate with somebody, like, it's exciting. I'm like, she's got this huge team and it's fun, it kind of sparks the fire again. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's super cool. And you never know when like those little golden nuggets are going to show up and somebody sees you and you're like, I didn't see that coming, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what types of spiritual or personal growth experiences have you experienced since you published your book, since you've just kind of wrapped up, I remember back when we first met, you closed up your studio and you were doing the second edition on your book and launching the journal book and just really looking at, how do I put myself out there? And you've had a lot of growth. So what do you have any spiritual things that have happened that you can attribute to your success?
Yes, absolutely. I believe that if you do what you love and you do it with complete presence and full heart, the rest is just icing.
Mm,
And I think I get reminded of it every so often. But again, I'm lucky enough to do something I love, but just to be in whatever you're doing fully, fully, not thinking about what's going to come later, just really being in the moment. I mean, exactly what we do with practice, with yoga practice, with meditation, just learning to be present, trusting the universe. I mean, that's huge.
mm.
And really making sure that you're enjoying it. Like, if you're not enjoying it, you know, why? Find
Yeah.
out. what can you really enjoy, and what is it about it that you're not enjoying, let's say. And I'm a big believer in giving and being on this planet to help others. And if I'm doing that each day, whatever else happens, great.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of people that right now are looking at their, excuse me, lives and careers and saying, hey, what I'm not happy. What kind of changes do I need to make? And I think you're a great example of you saying, okay, I'm going to do the things that I love doing. And then, and you're right. It's kind of like that book. There is a book called Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow, because I think that's very true. It was true for me, getting out of the corporate world and doing things differently. So, yeah. So let's talk about your intuition, because I know that you follow your intuition, but let's talk about a time when maybe you didn't follow your intuition and something happened as a result of that. And you kind of went back and said, oh, yeah, if I just listened to myself, listened to my intuition, things would have gone differently. Or maybe a situation where you did and something amazing happened.
Oh, I got plenty for both.
I love it.
Yes, intuition is huge for me. Absolutely. My first studio, I didn't even step into the space and I knew that was it. Like it really it felt right. When I was about to adopt a child and I said something's not quite right here, that was total intuition even though it was the opposite of what I was working on for the last year. And it's a child and that's a whole nother story. The intuition part, when I opened my first studio, I'm always about growth and
Mm.
like I change is good. I want change, it'll get boring if it doesn't change. Sorry, I just lost you for a minute there. But are you there? There we go. So I think part of the goal when I started the studio was I definitely thought one day I'm going to go online. I just didn't have the time or the bandwidth to even get into that. But I knew, I said, you know what? We'll see how things go and I'll expand. I'll look into having more than one studio. Again, just contributing. How many people can I help? When I was offered to go and open the second studio, it felt right. I was kind of at a stagnant point where I was like, okay, now what? And it came up, timing was great. And it all looked really great initially. But as I went into it deeper and deeper, there was a lot of things, everything went wrong. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm.
Everything that could go wrong went wrong. But because it was such a huge project, I was like, there's no going back. I have to follow through with it. So again, no regrets. I had a great experience. I had so much growth. I had wonderful people I met, but that definitely, like, I knew I was going against I'm like, this isn't like, I just knew it, but it was this monstrosity. I'm like, this is on you. You got to continue to where you can. So that was definitely it. Closing the studios, full total intuition, especially Westlake. And that was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for me. It was heartbreaking for the students, for the teachers. I felt like I let everybody down because I knew deep, deep, deep down inside, took me a couple months to get to that. I knew that that's what I had to do for me.
And your timing was actually perfect because you closed it right before we went into the pandemic and the lockdown. So you would have probably had to close your studio or at least go on hiatus for an extended period of time. And yet you followed your intuition and said, I need to close this. And you kind of took it head on before you really had to, before you were forced to.
Yes. And my intuition with that was it was on point. And also any decision I made as far as changes in the studio, I feel like, and it's not an egotistical thing, I was always ahead of the curve,
Mm.
like I knew when I had to implement something new. And then I kid you not, other studio owners would come and like spy at the studio and be like, oh, I heard you're doing this. It's like, yeah. But again, it was pure intuition.
Right.
And yes, and that when that pandemic hit, as awful as it was, I was like, that's why there's universe is looking out for you. You would be a mess if you were going through it with these two studios right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I that would have been a really difficult time. And really, it kind of really forced you to kind of refocus and finish your book too.
Absolutely. And one more thing I want to say about that pandemic, Yoga Works, which was the biggest chain, they immediately closed. I mean, they're pure business, of
Yeah.
course. But when that happened, I go, wow, like this is serious, right? But
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. New focus. And I think once you step out of your life And you're like back into this expansiveness of who am I? What am I doing? The book was very grounding. It was like, okay, let me go back to my story. Let me
Right.
go back to what knowledge I've built and why I'm here right now. So it was very grounding. I had no idea what was next. The online thing, obviously, that happened because of COVID, but it was like a clear slate again, as scary as it was.
Yeah. And sometimes we kind of need that to happen in our lives, that we just like, okay, burn it to the ground. Let's start over. Right. It's just, that's just life, you know?
And I have to tell you, even though, a lot of people and, whatever your opinion is, like, oh no, you got to teach yoga in a studio. And how do you help people adjust? All that. It made me become a better teacher
Mm,
because I have to communicate more clearly. And I was all about that. Give clear communication so people know what they're doing, even if they're not watching you do it. So it made me become a better teacher. And it actually made me closer to my students.
mm,
It's a more intimate relationship with my students. I'm in their house, they're in my house.
right.
And it's a whole new way. It's almost like a new business. It's a whole new way of moving. It really is. And that's fun. It's still fun. I'm still discovering that.
Well, I definitely am going to be coming back on board to your platform
I
because
hope so.
since I've moved, I don't have the consistency that I used to have. So
Mhm.
you'll be seeing me show up here soon.
Good. I loved having you in class and I look forward to it,
Thank
Susie.
you. Okay, so how can people find you?
So they can find me at my website, samadhiyoga.com. And, again, I'm not big on social media, so there isn't much activity there, but absolutely. And you can get on my website, you can go to the classes page, and you can try the live classes for free for a week. And if you decide it's for you, then there's 3 different membership packages. And I'm always happy to consult with you ahead of time as well, and to even have a little short session if there's any serious injuries or ailments you might be working with.
Yeah, and I have to say your packages are very affordable. And to have the yoga instructor for the stars, like literally in your living room, why not do it?
You're
And of
a
course, too, you
sweetheart.
can find your book on Amazon too. So, yes,
Yes.
Finding Home, the book and the journal. And the journal is fantastic. So, be sure to check that out too. What do you say we pull a few cards for our listeners today?
I would love that. I love pulling cards with you,
Oh,
Susie.
yeah, because we know Spirit's got our back. All right. Is there a certain question that you want to ask?
Oh, goodness. Is there a certain question? Not really, honestly.
Okay. Well, let's just see what the cards have to say for our audience today based on our conversation,
Okay.
right?
Sounds good.
Okay, the first card we got out is a 30 card that reduces to a 3. 3 is the number of teaching. And it's interesting that you're a yoga teacher, right? And the card is tick-tock. So this is saying, hey, time's a wasted. Like, don't waste time. Keep moving forward. It's also got the hands that are on the same card as the yang card. And the yang is the masculine energy of action. So this is saying, take action. Time's a ticking, time's a wasting. And I feel like this really goes back to our listeners understanding that you have to take action in order to take care of your physical health, right? Take care of your physical health. So it feels like yeah, the clock's ticking. Take care of yourself. Get yourself into yoga or whatever, some kind of exercise, but self-care is really coming through strongly for me. The next card is a 45, so that 4 plus 5 reduces to a 9. The 9 is the card of endings. And this is interesting because the card is time to go. So she's running down this walkway here towards a door in the far distance. But really, this is about, allow endings to happen. 2025 is actually a 9 year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is a 9. So this is saying, look at this year and even just maybe in the phase of life that you're in and understand that, it is okay to let things go. Just like you had to close your yoga studio. It's okay to close things up and to move on and move towards your future. And it really does feel like it's saying time is of the essence with this TikTok card. So, just don't be afraid to close things up, open a new door, move on, keep moving forward, right? Okay, and then we got a 44 card. So a 44, that's a master number. look it up, because it's always important that you look it up, because sometimes you'll get different meanings depending on where you're at, where your energy is at. So look up the number of 44. It is a master number. This one also has a lot of stars on it. So that's telling me we're divinely protected and guided by our spirits and ancestors. And this is the thinker card. Well, we got this one recently too on another one. So this tells me you've already built, she's on these building blocks, these foundational blocks. You already have a really good foundation. So just move forward and don't overthink it. So just, it feels a little bit of like a risk, because you've got TikTok, you've got time to go and thinker. You might feel like there's a lot of risk involved, but sometimes you have to just take that leap of faith. So just move forward, close out stuff that's no longer serving you, and don't overthink it. Just act from your heart, like be passionate about it, move forward. So that's our message today.
I love it.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
it. It's so fitting on so many levels.
I know, especially about the whole idea of allowing things to end, allowing things, close up a chapter, move on, because you're a great example of doing that. I had to do that too when I left my corporate career, and I was in media as well, and started working on publishing books. I was like, I never expected that to happen, but sometimes you have to just do it, right?
Yes, because there are better things to come. I mean, not necessarily better, but it's always that growth, right?
Yeah.
It's not meant to stay the same.
Absolutely. And we are on this trajectory right now that there's going to be so much massive abundance and expansion. That's the astrology of what's happening right now. And I just feel it. So don't be afraid to do it. Just do it. Just move forward. So any last words of wisdom that you have for our listeners, Mahnaz?
Any last words of wisdom? Stay conscious. Don't get distracted by all the noise. Maintain your humanity. That's ultimately all that matters, is our humanity, really, and especially now and always, always.
Yes, I totally agree. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Susie.
And if you found this interesting, I encourage you to join me for the next episode, and be sure to subscribe. Every week, one lucky listener who subscribes and posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will be entered into a drawing for the grand prize, a private VIP day with me, valued at $25,000. So be sure to subscribe and post a review. Until then, keep on writing so you can finish the damn book. We'll see you next time.
So that's it for today's episode of Finish the Damn Book. Head on over to wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a $25,000 value private VIP day with Susie Schaefer herself. Head on over to finishthedamnbookpodcast.com and pick up a free copy of Susie's gift. And join us on the next episode.